operating business license. But there's going to be some action taken. We
Because
just
I've lost
discussed
tenants
it
because of
last
them,
week.
and not to mention, they have been fined. Tenants that I've had, they have had to pay the tenants back for towing their cars and stuff with the fine put on it, and they blow that off. They say by the time you take us back to court, they know the average tenant don't have the
Right.
funds or the time.
Well,
So,
we may wind up in a court battle with them, but we have got so many complaints in regards to their actions that they're doing here in the village, and we're gonna have to address it.
and it's not just this village, like I said, I have a building in Blue Island, they do the same thing all around. So it's not just this village, it's overall. And if their boss is out of ICC and you go directly to them and they do nothing about it, so, I mean,
But we certainly try to address it.
Mr. Mayor, we do have ordinance in this bill.
Okay.
They're supposed to notify the police anytime they throw any car out of Dolton.
Okay.
We passed that ordinance.
We'll pull those orders.
but they do, because as soon as you call the police will tell you, well, George's has it. So they do notify the police, but, and even for moving trucks and stuff, you know,
Before they take it back.
Well, we'll look into it, whatever action we need to take. We need to be aggressive on this because we get complaints all the time about it.
can I have someone to get back with, stay in contact
Chief,
with me
can
on
you
this?
get her information?
I will.
Please? Okay. Mrs. Stubbs.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees.
Good evening.
It's after 10 o'clock. That's my first thing that I would like to say. And some of the residents have to go to work, get up, do other things. And I think that a lot of this is unnecessary. Unnecessary, you can go in the back, talk about what you need to talk about. The copy machine, the money that you allocate for the copy machine, you could have talked about that in the back. A lot of things that you said up there today, you actually could have talked about that in the back, and don't detain the residents until after 10 o'clock. And I wanted to make a statement about the Public Works. Last year, Public Works did an excellent job on removing the snow. And you actually, we need a full-time clerk because winter is getting ready to come about. And snow removing is not an easy job. And also, IDOT, I don't know if they still give free classes, but at the Department of Corrections, they trained a lot of the sanitation workers to do the plow truck, and they received certificates, and that training was free if you want to check into that. And the code enforcements, Ms. Smith, you just informed us everything that the college have to offer. The college also offer code classes. So the person is being trained, or you have budget for you guys to go to training. Maybe you can find some money so you can send some of the code enforcers to South Suburban College to give them that training so they can write adequate tickets. Behind me on Chicago, on Grant, 147th and Grant, I've complained to Brian about the houses are not abandoned. They look like they're abandoned, but you have, I believe, Section 8 people living in them. And it's ridiculous because anybody could be hiding up in those trees, bushes, grass. The grass is as tall as I am in their backyard. Anybody can be in there. And you need more people with public work. Public work, unless you did it, that's not an easy job. And you actually need full-time employees. And you need somebody that know the job, whether or not a person live in Dolton, don't live in Dolton. You need experienced people, seriously, to do these jobs. They're not easy. I worked in sanitation for about 16 years. They sent us, Sheriff Doc, he sent us for plenty of training, and to do the plow trucks, to cut grass, and you need more people. The police department needs more people. You need to hire, if you have 3 people to leave, you need to put some more people in their place. The lady just said her house just got broke into. You need to do that like right away. Because it's not gonna get any better out here, it's gonna get worse if you don't curtail it right now. And that's serious business. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stubbs. You know, we'd like to get those police officers on as quickly as we can. We want to make sure that we get qualified police officers. And we're coming into the holiday season, and some people have the wrong idea in regards to what they want to do, but how to get their gifts and their money. So, anyway, we want to get those police officers on the street as quickly as possible. She's just trying to get that done. Hello.
Hi, my name is Arlecta, and I represent Wildlife Management.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Denise and Public Works. We've had a vacant property that's on the block across from our property. It's probably been vacant for a couple of years, but this year, every time I called Denise and said the grass was up, she got Public Works, and by the next day, the grass was down. And I want to say we really appreciate that, because when our tenants come,
Right.
if across the street looks horrible, it makes it difficult for us to get the kind of tenants that we're trying to put in our property. So I want to say thank you to Denise and Public Works for taking care of that for us, because it stayed cut mostly all summer, which also helped with the dandelion fight, because they wasn't coming across the street.
Good.
The other thing is, we had a storm probably about 4 months ago. A light was taken out on 155th and Dorchester at the end of that block. And that light fell on the car. It took all the lights out that are also right there on Sunset and 156th Street where they're running together. It is very dark.
Right.
Now, we have put lights on the porches of all of our property, and in our parking lots, we have some spotlights, but it is still very dark
We'll
because
take care of
there's
it
nothing.
tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And that other, that water main,
Yeah, I see the markings, so
Right, yeah.
I think that we work.
we're gonna repair the sidewalk there, we're gonna repair the curb, we're gonna, we just rented a roller. So tomorrow they're starting to do the hot patch, they've already cut out a number of things, so that will be repaired, we will repair the landscaping, the curbing, the gutter there, and the sidewalk.
Well, I'm sure you'll appreciate it, because you know we did pay our own landscapers to replace some
Works on
of
the water
the,
main.
some of the
areas there.
grass and
Right.
turf that was messed up.
Yeah.
So we paid for
I was
that
up
ourselves.
there 2 weeks ago, we did the markings, so that'll all be done here in the next week or so.
Thank you.
Not total the concrete, but at least the pavement in front of where the water main break was.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, all the Board of Trustees, and fellow Dolton residents. My name is Renee Drake. I reside on 155th and Dobson. The main reason I came here tonight is because I became an empty nester, tried to rent out my house, came in, involved with some tenants that I didn't like, so I decided, me and my husband, to come back into Dolton. One of the things that I have been doing all my life is child care. I found out that Dolton was on the verge of going around trying to do something with child care, and my whole life, 19 years being in Dolton, I was a licensed home daycare provider. So I wanted to make sure that I come here to hear as well as voice my opinions on you all putting forth a business license for licensed home daycare. I too don't want Dolton to come with the negative stigma that came up with the dog place that was here. But when I came to Dolton, there was no standards here, because I became licensed in 1991. I was one of the first licensed home child care providers here. I made sure that I called Dolton, asked the fire department to come out and do an inspection on my home as well, because I want to make sure I do quality care as well as watch the safety of the children. So I always made the initiative for someone to come out. The only thing that I have, that I'm questioning is that I have always been an advocate for quality child care, home daycare, and have been involved with South Holland, Calumet City, Riverdale, and Harvey, as far as getting people to come out and inspect home daycare to make sure that those who are doing it are going by the standards of the Department of Children and Family Services. And when all these surrounding villages first initially started it, they never had no inspectors that was qualified, because if you do not work in child care, you do not know initially what to look out for in, quote, quality child care homes. And I don't want it to be where it's like close down every child care home because you don't have the eye to see what should be done. The state of Illinois makes sure that every licensed home daycare provider has 2 annual inspections. One is announced and one is unannounced. Most home daycare providers are involved with a home food program, whereas the food inspectors come out, do one announced visit and one unannounced visit. The only thing is that Dolton needs to make sure that they have a qualified person, whether it's set up a group, advocacy group, or some type of independent group in order to inform you all, whoever you're going to put in place, on what to look at. I say that because you can come out and say you're going to do an inspection. A good person that wants to do and hide up under the radar, they can hide stuff and do things where it will look qualified and not be that. And then on the other hand, you might find someone that shows forth all the qualities that you are looking for, and yet they're not doing what they should be doing. And I took off for school today. I'm going after my bachelor's in early childhood because I want to represent the ones who want to do this business at home. Because every parent do not want to set off their babies when they first come into a center base because of the diseases and all the infections a child can get. So they want to go into a smaller setting so that that child can get the one-on-one care that they desire. And I want to be one of those that represent that. So I'm coming back home to my Dolton home in order to start my business back up. It's just that I want to make sure I'm in compliance with Dolton. Because if you get someone who's going to do what they should do, it's no problem with setting up the license, as I said, and I'm all for it. And another thing is that I've been hearing some crazy stuff since I've been back here as you go. And I see that it seems like money's going crazy. So after you get the monies, what are y'all going to do with the monies that y'all coming up with? Because it looks like money is being here, there, and there. And that's why I said make sure you have someone qualified for it. And I'm here, do my volunteer work, make sure you all do so that you won't start just throwing out every home licensed daycare provider, because everyone isn't out here to make a bad name for what we do. At least I'm not. And I want to make sure that we are well represented as in a quality home daycare business. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. One thing that you elaborate on a number of times is qualification. How you doing, Mr. Craig?
And another thing, just know that we are not out to put any of them out of business. We just want to go and make sure that they're supposed to be doing what they should be doing. But we don't want to see any of them go out because that's their livelihood.
Yes.
Well, you know, and not just daycare centers. The village has had a custom of renewing licenses, business licenses without inspections. So if you got a business license 20 years ago, it was never inspected. Every year you just pay your fee and get your license. I want to put something in place, an ordinance in place, that when you get to apply for your license, an inspection is done. We need to know if things inside there are operating right. We need to know if there's hazardous materials in there, which the fire department can discover, if there's proper exits, proper breathing apparatus, smoke detectors and things like that. So it's not to put anybody out of business, it's just to be able to make sure that everybody's operating in a safe manner. And what it will also do is it will reduce our liability in regards to if something does happen. because nothing's wrong unless something goes wrong. And, you know, Monday morning quarterbacking, after the game is over, and you're on the defense, what? First thing you said, okay, you got an incident where there's fatalities. When was the last time it was inspected? 1983. Or maybe it wasn't even inspected. So that's something we need to put in place to reduce our liability and be on guard. That's great.
Good evening, trustees, mayor, department heads, citizens. I would like to invite the village of Dolton, as the mayor, Clerk Dugan mentioned, our parent and community induction ceremony. This is our second annual induction ceremony, and it will take place on October the 28th at Dormer High School. Dinner will be served. We'd like for everyone here in the village of Dolton, our leaders, to come out to take the pledge of supporting every teacher, student, and parent in this community. Thornridge sits smack dab in the middle of this village. I take it to be an honor for you to come out on that evening to take this pledge with all of us, saying that you're in support of every young person that walks through the village of Dolton that attends Thornridge High School. There is an induction ceremony at all three buildings, but I'm the parent coordinator for Thornridge High School, and I would take it to be an honor and a partnership that has been established, and we would like to see it to continue to grow. So on October the 28th, I hope that everyone received their invitation, that we're expecting you all to come out to be a part of this candlelight ceremony. We don't want it just to be, we're taking people's monies and we're finding you and things like that. We want you to come in to shake hands with everybody, fellowship with everybody, make people know that you are an intricate part of their child or their children. So please, please mark that on your calendar. There's plenty enough time on October the 28th. We've invited the same individuals that's going to be at the Mayor's Coffee Sip. I just think it's important for everyone to take a part in this ceremony, because I think our parents, our guardians are very important to us, making sure that our students are well-rounded. And I do, because you came out last year, I truly would love to see that number grow this year as we continue to grow our parent participation at Thornridge High School. I have a question concerning the videotaping of Ken. I don't know if in the job description, is he only responsible for videotaping? Is he responsible for airing it and things like that? Is that a part of the description?
For what Ken had said, it was for only videotaping, correct?
It's only for videotaping? Okay. That was a, and all of the information, the videotapes can be for you. I, as a citizen, am I able to get a copy of those videos?
Yes.
Okay, so I can FOIA the information of the videos and get copies of them?
You can FOIA the date of the meeting that you'd like to have that videotape.
I'd like the dates of each one. So just be specific in my dates that,
I would suggest that. How will we duplicate that? Okay. All right. Okay.
pardon me?
We'll get your copy, Ms. Craig, whatever you want.
Okay, so I just need to FOIA it?
Yes.
Okay, all right, all right.
You
And
may have to buy a duplicator to get all the ones you want, but anyway,
But I thought we should already have that.
we'll get them in place.
But we don't have them, so we'll be able to get them.
Okay, and then my next concern is that, it's just a concern. We talked about moving the equipment from the old building. I think the equipment is very antiquated. And I think Ken used to talk about that with our other president of the village. So I think it would be important that, seeing that, quote unquote, it's an election year, seeing that you're now writing for the bonds, that we find it within the monies to make sure that we have updated equipment placed into the new location.
Now, I know everybody said, where's the question? Can all of you get together, your heads or individuals that you know, to make sure that we have that monies in place, budgeted for that?
Maybe we can look at making those cost adjustments out of the bond money, Mr. Urban, to have the installation of new equipment or updated equipment in the village hall.
I think that's important. I
Yeah.
think that
I
we're
do too.
moving into a new building, that we make sure that we're up and updated with those things that we need to be, not antiquated, moving something, because that equipment is contaminated. It's old.
And I just want to say, I agree with you,
Yeah.
but we can't have everything new. So sometimes we gotta cross or we walk, we have to use the older equipment first until we can afford the new and then fine.
No,
But I
what
do
else?
want, hold on, I do want him to use the bond money for what he asked for, which was to help the fire department, the police department, public works. That first, that's priority,
Yes.
before equipment.
But we understand the needs. It has a priority list. The priority list is that I, as a taxpayer, I and the citizens of Dolton would love to see that equipment be updated. And if it's updated, if you know anything about wiring and technology, you know that you can't use stuff that's been sitting over a period of months and with mold in there. When you close down a home, you close down a home that has to be gutted out when it has certain color mold. So I'm just saying, for us, it's not just about the trustees, it's about the citizens of Dolton. Please consider that.
Oh.
That's all.
Thank you.
I agree with you, Mrs. Creighton. Like I said, I met with Comcast, and I want them to do a full evaluation in regards to what it would take to move the equipment and/or cost to have new or refurbished or used equipment put in there that will be operable, so you can see Channel 4. Trustee Lowe, how you doing?
All right, Mayor, Your Honor, won't y'all get that $4 grand that y'all voted on, and use that money?
The what?
That $4 grand, remember the $4 grand you voted for the last meeting of the, was it $4 grand, was it $4 grand? For the training?
Oh, the training money,
Yeah, training money. Yeah, training.
training money.
Well, my thing is, I live at 150,
Shay, hey,
Trustee Smith,
please.
please. I live at 15103 Beekman Court. You know, there was a young man trying to run a lady over there. He knocked the light post down, and my light post is still down on the ground.
The pole itself is there?
It's still there.
When did that
And
happen?
kids are sitting on it. It's been there about 6 months now. And the guy,
The pole is there?
pole is there, it's been sitting there for 6 months.
I missed it.
The guy tried
Drive by
to
your
run his
house.
girlfriend over. Went in home, if I was, he would have had the guy in custody.
Yeah. What corner is it at?
150, what's that, deep? 150 more deep.
I know where you live, on the corner.
Right, on the corner, so you go across the street, the
Uh-huh.
pole is on the ground.
Okay. Matt,
Yes, sir.
pole retrieval tomorrow.
Okay, I appreciate it.
And we're looking to replace it.
Okay,
Okay?
that's all right.
Okay. I know we fixed the one around the corner from you.
Right, you fixed, that's the one they knocked down.
The one
you
we fixed?
That's the one they knocked down.
I'm talking about in front of Nate's house. Nate here?
No, not Nate's house, my house, across from my house.
Okay. No, I mean, we fixed the one around the
Right,
corner.
right, Nate.
On Dorchester, across from the school.
And
Okay.
the break-ins, the only way you can stop these break-ins, you gotta form a block club. Get a block club, everybody becomes the eyes of the neighborhood.
Right, I agree with that.
Now, when I first moved over, when I first bought my house, I had a guy who was standing in front of my house. There is a city ordinance, no more than 2 or 3 people can stand in front of your house.
Well, we've been addressing that. The chief, we had a long discussion about that. The
Mhm.
chief had made some moves on that, both of them, the deputy chief and we had problems 151st and Everett, Grant, Oak. Those corners are
Oak.
clean now.
Oh, they good.
Those corners are clean now.
Thank God for that.
So the chief himself and deputy chief both went out there and gave a few lessons.
Yeah, we did a few lessons too, but it was a different way. But anyway, I retired in the code guy doing the riding around the streets. I had talked to the you're a code enforcer.
Right,
If they can write more tickets on the people putting the garbage out too early,
yeah,
garbage piled up in the alleys,
Right.
the landlords. I asked you to let me be a code enforcer. I would go around with a lot of
well,
shit.
fill the application out.
Well, anyway, that's the only.
But anyway, I want to say to anybody here, if you see a problem with loitering, you call the police. We are addressing those loitering issues. So, in some cases where these guys loitering on the corners, they're actually lookouts for the burglars. So you call the police, and we're gonna disperse them. They don't leave, they go to jail.
And when you are going to enforce the saggy pants, Richard thing is.
Well,
Loud music.
They not, let me tell you, they ride by, they not enforcing it.
Well, I'm gonna say this, I'd like to see stepped up enforcement on those.
That could be
Which
the
one,
code,
saggy pants?
code guy
Both
can do
of
it.
them.
Your code enforcement can do it, they can write the guy. And there are people that's
Okay, thank you, Trustee Lopez. I want to say, that's the end of our citizens' address. I want to say that it's unfortunate, but we had the passing of our former Deputy Chief, Jim Creighton, that came in office with Chief Franklin. He passed away last Thursday. Tonight was his wake. Tomorrow's his funeral. How old was Jim? 56?
58.
58. Jim was battling cancer for a long time. He went into remission a couple of times, and this last time he succumbed to the cancer. I ask that you keep his family in prayers. Jim came out of retirement. He worked with me on the state police. Came out of retirement out of Florida because he wanted to get back in law enforcement. Had a wealth of knowledge. So at any rate, he passed. The other thing I want to bring up again is my coffee with the mayor on Saturday. You want to meet your congressman, you want to meet the governor, your state representatives, please come out, bring somebody. So, in what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? 4 weeks is the election. You have a right to make a decision who you want to vote for governor, but at least you'll get a chance to talk to him this coming Saturday. And every legislative representative that represents you on the state, federal, and local level will be there. So, all right, no further, like I get a motion.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
The motion is second to adjourn. Roll call.
Trustee Bendel?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Hunt?
Aye.
Brown?
Motion carries 6 ayes. Motion means adjourned.
Go. I'm going to get some hugs and I'm out. All right. Yes. Hey,
What's happening with you?
I said a meeting the other